What is up, guys? Even here from Rev Airsoft PH, and I have Adam here again with me.
What is up, guys?
And we're back with another video on the KAC SR16E3 by VFC. Okay, so we'll start with again, from tip to butt, right? So here at the front, you have your KAC, what's the name of this flash hider?
If I'm correct, it's a 3-prong flash hider. It's the QDC one. But
it's by KAC. I'm not sure
not
about the model.
We're not particularly sure with the exact models and whatnot or names of it. But main reason why going basically at the beginning why we have this replica here because of me. I'm a Knights Ornament fanboy starting way back.
Yeah, that's why we started with the flash hider. Because it all started with a triple tap. If you're familiar with that flash hider, that's where it's all started. Yung KAC triple tap flash hider. Yun lang yung KAC. It's the only KAC part of our replica.
I fell in love with that, and then afterwards I fell in love with the SR16E3. I think it's the mod 1, the one that has the URX3.
URX 3.1.
3.1 rail. I had one previously. Unfortunately enough, I sold it, and I'm still looking out if ever we can get one. Probably ViperTech in the future.
ViperTech. I think Bolt would have its EBB version of that one. Maybe you could get front assembly.
But if you would notice also a trend in the channel, majority of our units is all gas guns. So we're not trashing AEGs and whatnot, but we just love gas guns. So as you can see, GBB all the way.
Adam can say that. I can say that I don't like AEGs. That's a personal preference, right?
But we all belong with AEGs.
Yeah. I'm not trashing if you're using AEGs. It's just a personal preference.
Again, that's our point of view. We're open on having AEGs, but running as primary, probably not in the future.
Maybe I'd run an AEG. Maybe a P90.
Wait, retro style with the M4.
No. Just the low caps.
Yeah.
The M4 box mag, right? So, anyways, going back.
So, yeah, going back. So, I'm a Knights Ornament fanboy with the SR15, SR16. One thing I love about their style, or their with firearms, because of the rail, monolithic uppers, a very intuitive rail, with the 4 that we have here is running an MLOK rail. You have
URX4, right?
Yeah, URX4, which runs a MLOK rail or MLOK system. It's lighter weight and more ergonomic, and then it has options, or plenty of options, to attach your accessories like a flashlight, IR illuminators, and red lasers, green lasers, and whatnot. But overall, I just prefer this one, and I think it's more of a what do you call this? Hindi masyadong pinapansin compared sa ibang lineup.
Like the URGI, Mark 18s, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Mark 18 Block 2, Mod 0, it's classic. Modern classic.
Setup, right? Block 2.
Yeah. So. But for me, I tend to be different from everybody. So that's why I'm running I chose the URX or the SR16 instead of the URGI or the Daniel Defense one. I want to be unique out of the field. So again, we're gonna start at the front. Now we've talked about the
flash hider.
One thing about the flash hider that I like, but somewhat also is a gripe with VFC. Good thing they replicated very well, having this protrusion in the front. That's for the Knights Ornament QDC suppressor. It has a locking tab, and also as you can see, there's a indentations for the ball bearings for the quick release system. This is accurate even to the real steel, but for airsoft, you cannot get the QDC style one since this would block the suppressor, so you have to replace the flash hider instead. But I'm not gonna do that since this one is more accurate. Or probably if I would tend to go to the route of the Ace Tech Predator, since that has a similar look, or it is a similar look to the Knights Ornament QDC suppressor, and also the same flash hider. But for me, this one works well. And also comparing it with the Surefire ones, this doesn't have the annoying ting sound since it's a bit chunky per se.
Well, it's a point of preference. I like that having that metallic sound.
Ah. Up top is the Knights Ornament iron sights. This one, industry standards, everyone likes it. No,
I'm not a KAC fanboy, but I do run the older version of this
yeah. Also,
iron
in
sights, right?
on our JGs, we also have the Knights Ornament iron sight. So I think even the URGIs,
Yeah, they would
From-
use KAC. This
Yeah.
style, the newer one,
the
right?
newer ones, yeah. Very intuitive, very straightforward. You got windage adjustment, or sorry, elevation.
At the front, yeah.
And
then you have
also, one thing that I like about this is also marked. As you can see, there's a logo of Nice Ornament at the front. Also, at the back, there's like, I'm not so sure if you can be able to see that. There's also
there's
markings, like
Yeah.
the model numbers and whatnot. And also, comparing it to the other brands, this one is very, very tactile. It's very positive, engaging. It's not gonna lose zero that easily. It's not flimsy. I mean,
yun,
there's
yun, yun yung that's the short way
Short-
of saying it. So both front and rear sights, I guess, they're not flimsy, right? So
yeah, it's very robust. I think if you would slap this on a real steel, you can hold zero for sure. But
maybe
again,
I don't know.
we're not so sure. We don't have.
So I would not bet my life on putting that on the RS
But-
AR-15, but
It could.
maybe. But
Maybe.
in terms of other replicas of that KAC side, especially the cheaper China-made ones,
These ones are
these
better,
are very
definitely.
good. Yeah.
Miles away from them.
So let's talk about the rail. The rail is again the URX4, and when I first held this replica, right? I like how it's not the thinnest MLOK rail out there, but it has that very good grip, right? Maybe you could do with a hand stop just to have that bit of a guidance, but how it's built, right? The correct markings there, you have that engraved markings, right? And well, VFC even before was very well known by with creating no very good externals, no, and it does show here. So let's move on to the
And also, since this is the ang tawag nito, this one also uses the guide hop, but if I'm correct, this one has a newer version. Since the old version 2.1, the guide hop doesn't have the positive click when you adjust the hop. So again, the guide is, or the hop chamber, or the hop system is adjusted through the front, where you would put a Allen key or an Allen wrench to adjust for more or less hop. I think it's a plus comparing it to the old standard from Western Arms,
GHK.
GHK, where you need to
Remove the entire assembly. Yeah.
a definite a positive. Um, Comparing it with them, with in terms of accuracy, range, similar, which is good for VFC. Yeah, moving forward to the receiver.
But I guess you forgot to mention the outer barrel is made out of aluminum, no?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's aluminum. So no steel outer barrel, but it's okay. It saves on weight, but yeah, just to mention the controls. I guess this is where Adam and I would agree. I like the original Colt versions of things. That's why he has a VFC SR16 and I have an M733. We'll do it on our next video, right? We'll compare both of these replicas if this one is still here. But but to talk about the controls, right? KAC and of course when VFC copied it, did a very good job with replicating these ambidextrous controls. So you have your bolt release, your mag release, and your selector on both sides. So for ambidextrous shooters and of course left-handed shooters, is a very good system to begin with. Do note that you can't use the bolt release on the left side, or depending on where you're looking at, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot engage
Gauge the
bolt catch on the right side.
right side. Yeah,
You can only do it from the
yeah.
left
From the
side,
paddle
the
itself.
normal manual of arm. So strap, push down. But yeah, you can disengage it here.
Yeah,
But
so
if
it's
I'm
really
correct,
release.
with the uh, newer versions, I think you can. I mean, the real steel ones, you can do that, but
But of
Airsoft, I'm
course,
not so sure.
yeah, airsoft. So yeah, so you have the stoner rifle markings, CQB mod 2 markings up here. The receiver, very well made, but we do have a gripe with VFC's finishing. I'm wondering why, as to why the rail, right, would have a different finish from the receiver. As you can see, the rail looks fairly okay, right? Fairly okay. So let's zoom into that, right? See, this should have a lot more wear because this is where Adam is holding it. He sticks this into things. He bashes. So basically, he sticks this into concrete walls, the rough edges, right? But the rail is okay. But why would the receiver have this? And he only places this in tables, right? This part hits the tables, sometimes the mags, right? But this one, the what I'm getting at is the finish on the receiver versus the rail. The rail is actually quite good, but the receiver they're really well, not good, or basically bad.
Yeah, basically, it's not up to par with the rail section. As you can see, it shows quite a bit of wear. As you can see, the mag magwell or the flare magwell has took quite some beating. Also, the edges from the mag catch or the mag release, and also the bolt bolt catch. I'm not so sure why it's catched up, but it is what it is. Overall, you can say it's battle worn, but it shouldn't be at this kind of price point. Imagine TM is Cerakoted around 35K or so. I think VFC could up their job on that part, but usability wise, it's up there, to be honest. Um,
So before we get into the usability, right? Some people have asked us if the TM system, right, versus the VFC system, which one is better? Basically, the accuracy, right? So where
Accuracy,
we play,
consistency, yeah.
they're really they like the TM MWS system, and me and Adam we run basically WA systems. Of course, VFC is a offspring of WA, right? That's why we went that route. Maybe in terms of accuracy, would you think this it's on par with TM, or is it a bit better or a bit worse?
Personally, one, to be clear, I haven't had much time with an MWS system, but I think VFC is close enough. Not close or not up to par with TM's accuracy, but in terms of usability, I think it's up there. It's close. For me, I would change our inner battle and also the hop bucking for better consistency. Out of the box, it's fine. I'm able to hit targets from 40, 50 meters, even 60. In some occasions, with point threes accurately. Grouping wise, it's okay. Not that bad. But overall could be better.
I'd agree. I have the same. I
Yeah,
have the
we
same
have.
experience with my M733, but I'd have to say that this one is a bit better. Maybe because of the newer hub system, right? So going back to this replica, KAC Trigger guard. This is not the stock,
No,
right?
no, no. It's definitely
It's
the stock
the
one is the
A2
A2
grip.
grip,
Yeah.
and also the
Hot stock.
butt stock is a fairly common crane stock. I decided to replace it with the Magpul clone
SL.
SL SL clone stock and also a K2 grip. Um, personally I don't like the A2 grip with the KAC.
I don't think anyone likes that.
Yeah. Also with the trigger guard, it it's bearable. But if you have the URGI one, I definitely suggest getting replacement. Although the BCM ones are nicer since it has a BCM grip and also a B5 stock or a BCM. I'm not so sure, but we're getting sidetracked. But
So
this one I think is better, a K2 or any Magpul BCM kind of grip. But do note, when replacing your grip, VFC is somewhat close to real steel design, but they tend to use a smaller spring. So with this one,
so that's the spring for the detent
for the D10 for the
selector.
safety. This one has like a hole on the side where you would put the spring and D10 and whatnot. Will require you to either fill up the hole or buy a real steel spring and D10 for your replica. Is it necessary? Maybe it's up to you. But with my route, I just filled up the hole instead and then used the stock spring and D10. Works well.
So just to not get sidetracked again, no. In terms of the receiver, when it comes to your standard Colt blowers, the upper is, well, it's a standard Colt upper, right? But the lower, yeah, you have differences when it comes to the controls. Again, this is a specific to the SR16 or SR15E3 lower, right? And you also have this QD sling point, right? So everything here is QD. So including in the front, right, you have your QD sling point. So at the other side, so you have that same, no, you have that those controls again, the release for your bolt catch, this AMBI selector switch, and your of course your standard mag release. So let's go to the trigger, and one of my favorite parts of having a wall-based replica is actually the trigger. They're very nice triggers. And so no take-up whatsoever, no flash when it comes to the
It's
trigger.
straight to the wall.
Yep, straight to the wall, and no over travel, and you have that nice and crisp reset. So yeah, Adam, what do you think about the trigger?
I want more to say. It's good. It's snappy. You can get follow up shots, 2-3 rounds. Very very good. Nice clean break. I think if I'm correct, it's a 4 pound trigger pull. I'm not so sure. But again, no take up, right to the wall, break, no over travel, reset. Very audible, very tactile, and break. So yeah, basically it's still close to Offspring. Um, but comparing it again to MWS, I choose this one rather than the MWS system.
Let's not get sidetracked again. But okay, the last thing that we do want to talk about is actually the internals. So we'll take this down for you. Yeah. Hi. So the first generation of VFCs, they didn't have very good internals, just so to speak. Right? They had steel, but the design was not good. There seems to be some with the even with the version twos, right? And right here is the V3 system, right, which uses all steel internals inside, and you have your steel valve knocker. Well, what can I say? This is how many months old? Around 6 months, right? Six. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
well,
6 months.
around 6 months, and this has been fairly used, and there is minimal wear on the hammer as well as the other trigger components. Well, we do keep it, these ones, no, we do keep maintained fairly well by lubing it up, cleaning it every after game, and there seems to be very minimal wear on these trigger components. So the good thing about VFC is they would have also on the M750 they would have that steel internals, right, when it comes to the fire control group.
Mm.
The kicker here when it comes to the SR16E3 is actually up here. So, and there in other VFC replicas, they would use the
Zinc
zinc aluminum, I'm not sure, zinc alloy
zinc
bolt
alloy
carrier.
bolt.
But for this one, it actually uses a steel bolt carrier.
Steel bolt carrier, which adds more mass and also a bit more recoil. And also the most important, it's longevity. So yeah, a big part of the SR16 compared to other VFC replicas, AR replicas, is the bolt carrier. I think the BCM1's version 2 has a steel bolt carrier, but other than that, I think other replicas is still running the zinc alloy bolt carrier.
The Noveske N4 would have a steel bolt carrier as well.
But again, it's not VFC, quote unquote.
Oh, yeah.
Basically,
It's still VFC, di ba? Well,
legal matters. But yeah, since VFC from the longest time has a tie up with KAC, they are replicating good quality KAC rifles
replicas.
or replicas. Very, I mean, ayun lang naman yung difference between this and the other bolts. It's made of steel, which is would last longer. But overall has better recoil, better kick.
Last, I guess, magazine. So the version 3, I'll show it to you, no? If you see the fun switch there and it's color gray,
It's color
that's
gray.
the version 3 VFC magazine. And, well, there's really nothing to say about this magazine. It keeps gas well, it doesn't leak as much. We had the version 2 magazines, which are notorious for leaking at the bottom side. But for the version 3 magazines that we have, I have 6 short ones, 1 long one. Ryan has this one. Or sorry, Adam has that one, right? But we don't have issues with the with the version 3 magazines. That's why if you do plan on getting a PFC replica,
We suggest getting version
just
3.
get the version 3 mags.
Avoid version 2s if all else fails.
All else. Avoid the version 2 mags like the plague.
The plain black. From the 416s,
416,
the BCM black ones.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, you can get away with it. But
Well, having leaky mags don't work talaga, no? So I'd rather you stay away from it. But if you're, well, it's not that cheap in comparison with this one. So why bother with the version 2 mags? Right?
I mean, minimal difference. So just get the version 3 instead.
To conclude, right? The SR16E3.
By VFC. Overall, very happy. So overall, I'm very satisfied with my SR16. Actually, it's a dream come true. Uh, from way back 2013, having my SR clone to this one. This one's a definite upgrade from that one. Um, we didn't go over the red dot.
Well,
It's
it's a
a
red dot.
it's a red dot. You see a red dot, that's it. And it's gray.
It's a story for another day.
Yeah. But overall, very satisfied with VFC's replica. A bit of nitpicking.
So yeah, I have had a GNP, a
GHK.
JG, PM, and overall, it's a ano yun, no? It's a unique build. No? I guess you will have to spend a lot of money just to get custom kits for you to build a SR16E3 for 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 a specific platform, right? But when it comes to the out of the box, right, you would have to go to Viper Tech, which is very expensive for around
35,000 pesos.
Yeah, it's a good replica of the stoner rifle from KAC.
So,
And
yeah.
I've shot this quite a fair bit na rin. So sometimes
Yeah.
I'd like to use his platforms, right? Just for me to get a feel of how you run this, right? And this shoots very accurately. Off of the box, right? Maybe a bit of mods here and there and upgrades would definitely help get this up to spec to some other platforms as well.
To sum it all up, if you want to be unique, stand out on the field, I definitely would suggest the SR16. Sobrang dami ng M4s
For AR-15.
AR-15 platforms out there. But when you come to think of it, only VFC has an SR system. TM doesn't have one. GHK doesn't have one. Although VT has one, pero it's somewhat of a unicorn in the locally here. Some has, pero yun nga lang, it's not prevalent. But for me, definitely a standout on the AR platform. How about you, Ivan? What's your final thoughts on this?
So I've used this nga, as I stated earlier, quite a fair bit. Field games, CQB games. It's a good replica to start with if you're going play with if you want to run a GBBR replica. Anyways, it's a good platform to start with. External wise, it's very good. Maganda yung the controls are solid enough. The internals as well as the bolt carrier, the hub changer, and the barrel all solid out of the box. Again, you might want to upgrade a little bit of maybe the hub walking and the barrel if you want to have it more accurate and more consistent shots. Again, overall, great replica. So I guess that sums it up for our video today. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and
We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.